Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. So heading outside today. Not going to be doing anything on the 240. I probably just really blinded the living crap out of you guys. But we got parts in for the Civic. I don't have everything to finish it up, but if you follow me on TikTok, you'll see I did some work. I pulled the steering rack and stuff out of it. So we have our new rack right here. And it is a manual rack. I'm switching, so I'm going to show you guys what all I got removed, which is already started on this. And then I got some pieces in. I still got to order this bracket, but I got some stuff in. So let me go inside and get that. We got two OEM Honda parts in today. Stuff that is a must for this swap. Go outside and I'll show you why. So you can probably tell the steering shaft on this is pretty short. And yeah, here's a closer look. You also have all the side parts set up for all the lines and everything. We don't need any of that. So yeah, this is the old power rack, clearly. And you can tell tires are wearing out. This thing had a lot of play. We got this little collar here, and that's going to be a big difference in between the power and the manual. This is the part that we can actually use, but we do need some adapters for it. So here's a side-by-side comparison of the two racks. The old one still has the tie rod ends on it. As you can see, the mounting points are the same. This plug's a little different from power to manual. Not that it really matters, just basically something to note. So one's got a bolt, one's more of a insert. You got this big area to the side, which does not exist because it's not needed on the manual rack, which leaves the shaft being way longer, which is why, you know, this fits so weird and leaves all that space. So basically the adapters we got is just going to take up that extra space. So there's one part number, there's another part number. You can still buy these new. This part you cannot buy new. Luckily you don't have to, because you can reuse it. Now if you don't have one, then maybe you should look at the billet options or get on eBay or go to the junkyard or something. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of that part. So here we have our two new pieces. As you can tell, the white collar is just going to snap into, well, not really snap, it's just going to go down into this rubber grommet here. You take it and just finesse it around, stretch it, and you can see the little part that does snap in will, you know, kind of stick through the bottom of that there. And then on the other end, you have the, like, two little ears. And you snap it into the rack down there. And so yeah, so the two ears are going to be facing up, and you can see on this the very top grommet where it has the little notches in it for those two ears. So you just slide it on over there, and if you give it a good press, it'll snap on. And then your big collar on top. So you just want to make sure that it's turned in the right direction. Go ahead and snap it down. And then you know, your seal is going to sit around the bottom of it, keep anything from going into the rack. The white collar will still be showing. You could paint that black if you wanted to, just to make it look a little better. Personally, I'm not overly worried about it. And then just clean up your top collar, make it look nice, and snap it on there, and it'll look good. Ta-da! So after I got the collar on there, I proceeded to go ahead and put the, it's not really called a U-joint. It's not really a knuckle. I don't know what you really call this. It is a joint though, and it connects your inside column to the steering rack. If you put it on there first, you're going to have a really hard time getting the rack in there. There's just really not enough room to get it to bend and be able to push the rack up from the bottom and everything like that. So I recommend leaving that off. So before you put it in there, it probably helps to center outside of the car. So obviously, you know, your shaft's not in the middle of the rack, so there's no good points to measure on this left and right to see if the tie rod ends are the same. Maybe if you pop the boot off and went from the very end of the rack to the end of the tie rod end or whatever, or the inner, I guess you could maybe do it that way, but then you take a risk of messing up these boots here. So I didn't want to go that route personally. And what you can do though is if you slide this U-joint on, it makes it a lot easier to turn the rack, and then you can go all the way one way, which would be, you know, your steering lock, all the way the other way. And then, you know, count your revolutions, like make a line or something in the middle. That way you can see, just count how many full turns it takes to go lock to lock. So here I am taking a Sharpie. I make my mark. I don't know if this part's really necessary. I use a ruler just so I could, like, and then that groove at the bottom just to really make sure the mark is, like, straight in the middle of this freaking thing. Honestly, by the time it was all said and done, I kept playing with this a little bit anyways and just moving the steering wheel afterwards. So maybe there's a better method to do this, I don't know. But this is the route I went, so hopefully this works for you guys. If you know a better way, drop it in the comments. So maybe if the next time I do this, I can do it even quicker. So after the rack bolted in, I ended up sliding on this joint here from the inside, which made it a lot easier. And then you're just going to have to rotate it. Excuse my big head getting in the way, but rotate it, get your bolts lined up, put them in, and then you're able to tighten it up. Now, as for this side of the rack, you can probably tell. So you have the bushing that comes on it, and then, which is this big square one here. And then this outer one here is the original power bushing. If you wrap it around it like this and then put the bracket over top of it, it takes all the slack out. Everything still lines up, and then it kind of presses into that curved notch that's in the subframe right there. And yeah, it should work pretty good. Some forms basically, that's kind of the way to do it before all these little billet adapters come out. So I'm going to try it out, and in the case that I have any issues, which I don't think I will, then I'll go ahead and buy the billet one. But I'm just going to insert the bolt here, and then there's another one on top, and then snug them down. So the amount of rotations is going to change because you basically have a bigger pulley, the pulley being the steering wheel. So I ended up making a mark on the inside, spinning the wheel, counting it, spinning the wheel, counting it, and then just looking at how much space is left on the steering column, since basically it doesn't, make it all the way back around on the very last rotation. You still have a little bit of a gap before your steering wheel lines up perfectly with the column. And then I just evened it out and made sure that gap was the same to both sides. It's probably not 100% accurate, but it gets you pretty good. And then when you go get your alignment, worst case scenario is they center it using the rack, and then you have to take off your steering wheel. But yeah, I ended up getting rid of the clock springs. It was pulling it, and I plan on replacing this steering wheel anyways. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put the OEM airbag back on. So I'm just going to grab it, just pop it right into place. And then, it's got 2 screws on the side, which obviously if you got it off, you know how to do this anyways. This isn't really a how-to video. I'm just kind of showing you what I did and how I did it. And maybe you should or shouldn't do it that way. You can try it and find out. I take no responsibility, and have fun.